To learn about the off-grid lifestyle and to be inspired to live your dreams, click subscribe so you don't miss anything. Hit the bell notification. So, if you've been following my videos for the last, I don't know, several days to a week, you know that I'm highly anticipating getting what's called a well packer so I can finally fix my well after living with this dirty water for a year. To give you a brief overview, not a lot of description, the well casing in our well is cracked. Groundwater is getting into the bedrock water, the clean water. And so I'm going to put a well liner in it using a well packer at the end of it, and that's going to hold back the groundwater, keeping just the fresh bedrock water. So I've gotten the well pump. You saw me make a video about the well pump. I've put this brace in here so I'll be able to pull the well packer and the pipe into the well using the come along here. According to the organization that sold it to me, it's shipped today, so hopefully by next week I'll be installing the well packer. Now, of course, I'm very nervous about this. My nerves have eased quite a bit once I realized that no matter what happens, I can still use the well. It may not be fixed, it may still have dirty water in it, so currently I have to flush the well out before I can use it. Now, something that's important to understand is the first crack, at least, I can see. I don't know how many cracks are in the well liner, but there is one about 15 feet down that I can see. I can see water dripping right out of it from the ground. So that means that groundwater is dripping down into the clean bedrock water. Now, there may be more cracks down there that I'm not aware of. The well is 100 feet deep. I know this because when I put the well pump in it, the first one, I took it down to 100 feet. Right here, actually, is the 100 feet mark. This pipe is 100 feet long. Well, you're not supposed to set it directly on the bottom of the well, otherwise it picks up all that sediment from the bottom. So you lift it up about 5 or 6 feet, and I would say this is probably 5 feet. And so it sits there and dangles in the water. When we first got here to look at the place, I lowered a cup down into the well to see if it had water in it, to see if it was dry. And the water line, I think if I remember, was 70 feet. So that means there's a column of water down there, 6.5 inches in diameter, 30 feet deep of water. And it has a really good recovery rate. I can flush the well and within just a few minutes, turn the well back on and more water's coming out. Even though it's considered a deep well, it's relatively shallow. You'll hear people say, oh man, my well is 1,000 feet deep, 400 feet deep. So I'm very excited that mine's not that deep. Meaning, if I ever had to get another one drilled, I would hope to think that I could drill one right next to this, go out 100 feet and have water. So, my well cost would be somewhere around $6,000. Now, to have a company come in and put in the liner, it's anywhere from $2,000 to $3,000. So either way is not a very cheap way of doing things for me. I like to do this for myself, and so far, I'm only going to invest about $300 into this. So to repair a well, $300, and if it works, then great, it works. If it doesn't work, then maybe one of these days I'll have to drill another well. I'm not in a hurry for it. This is not going to get better on its own. Over time, the well casing is going to continue to disintegrate and fall and break, and eventually the entire well can fall in on itself. So even if I don't fix the dirty water problem, I will be fixing the potential of the well caving in on itself. Even if it caves in itself, it's going to cave in into the well liner, and I'll still have my well pump down there pumping out water. I'm preserving the life of the well, even if I don't fix the dirty water problem. It really isn't that big of a deal to flush out the well. It's a long day process. I come out, I flush the well, it takes about 5 minutes to flush the well out. Then I wait 15 minutes, flush it out again. I wait another 15 minutes, flush it out again. And then I wait an hour so the well has plenty of time to fill up. And depending on how much rain I get, I might flush it for a half hour just on a trickle, kind of 5 gallons a minute or so, but not empty. I won't empty it. And then I can fill the tank. And the tank takes a good little while to fill up. So I would like to resolve the problem before I get old. And another thing I like to solve is I'd like to solve the problem before wintertime, because this last winter, trying to use this well and flushing it out, it was miserable. So I'd rather not have to do that anymore. Now, you have to remember, when we bought this place, and I said it had a well on it. I don't understand the human psyche. I'm a very go for it type of person. I don't take risk. I admit that. I don't take risk. But I do think that problems can be solved. And so when I bought it, first thing everybody said is, oh, don't buy the property until you get the well tested. Why? Why not? Why do I have to have the well tested in order to buy the property? If the well's bad, am I not going to buy the property? Of course I'm going to buy the property. I've got a Berkey in there that purifies water, and I do it anyways, so what difference does it make if the water is dirty or not? Besides that, it's a 50-year-old well, 60-year-old well. I'm sure it wasn't going to test very good. Of course, now, don't get me wrong, those people were right. The well is got a problem with it, but does it matter? We have not been sick. We didn't get, die from this water. We've been able to purify it using bleach and the Berkey. Then the second thing came across, and this went on to several different YouTube channels complaining about what I'm about ready to do, is you cannot run a well pump without having the pressurized tank and the whole assembly, because there's supposed to be a whole assembly in here. And I'm just using the well pump. Can't do that. One lady told me her husband is a well digger. And if you're going to run that pump for any longer than a few minutes at a time, a couple minutes, you're going to burn the pump up. Well, I know better than that. I was on a submarine as a machinist mate. I worked on pumps. That was pretty much what I did. Diesels, pumps, just water, plumbing, all of it. Oxygen, centrifugal pumps. As long as you keep them cool, you don't run them dry, they'll run forever. You can run them for hours. And I've proven that. Over the last year, I run this thing nonstop, just can't run it dry. So, again, folks saying you can't do something, and you absolutely can. So, I want to point out that I'm not making this video for myself. I am well aware of what kind of audience I have. I have a majority of my commenters are hateful. I know this. I don't know why. I mean, I really do appreciate the kind words I get from the nice commenters, but the majority of my commenters are hateful. They want to see me fail for some reason. I don't understand why. A lot of my nice commenters will tell me why, which is either they're jealous or they're so miserable with their lives that it would make them happy to see someone else just as miserable. And so what I'm trying to do now is explain to you that when you decide to live your dream, there are going to be people out there who are aggressively praying for your failure. And they're going to do whatever they can to stop you from enjoying your life, living the dream. So, I'm always trying to explain to you, be free. You can do it. If you just think about it long enough, work at it hard enough, and research, you can do it. So, the other day, I got a comment. Now, I've been doing YouTube for a long time, and I know a troll when I see one. I mean, they're just smack you in the face. Well, this one troll comes on and says, Rob, are you sure the well liner is going to work? So I replied back with a sarcastic comment, no. As a matter of fact, the company that sold me the well packer had an exclusive warning telling me this is not going to work, even though professional well drillers and oil well folks, the people who run oil wells, use this thing all the time. And then I even put down in the bottom, because when I do that sometimes, people get offended, other people get offended that I actually said that. So I said, just for those who are going to get mad that I've been sarcastic here, this is a troll. Then someone who I felt like wasn't a troll said, but Rob, you are going to have problems with that well liner. And let me explain why. Because professionals, the ones that are going to want $2,000 or $3,000, $4,000, have cameras and all kinds of special equipment they can run down in there to find out where the problem is, and then they can run the well liner past the crack. Well, I intend, first of all, to run the well liner all the way down to the end of the well casing. It's only 80 feet at most. 70 feet is what I think. But something stuck in my mind. You're going to need a camera. Well, first of all, like I said at the beginning of the video, I know that the first crack at least is 15 feet down. But just to prove this guy wrong, now, I'm putting myself out there. I'm letting you know I'm going to try something when I pull the well pump out. That may or may not work. But the fact is I gave it a try. He says you got to have a camera to go down there and check for cracks. So, I have an old cell phone. it won't charge anymore. I dropped it in the snow and it won't charge. I can take the battery out and I can charge it on my other phone. It's in bad shape. The battery will last about an hour. I mean, this thing's, it's got cracked screen. It's in bad shape. I can't use it, but the camera works. So I'm gonna put it in a bag, Ziploc bag, and I'm gonna run it down the well. Oh, Rob, you can't do that because you won't be able to see it. It'd be too dark. Well, my mother gave me a Christmas present, and I use it all the time. And she gave me this headlamp, and it's bright. So what I'm gonna do, the headlamp is waterproof, so I don't even need to put it inside the bag. So I'm going to tie this to the string also, and I'm going to run this camera slowly down the well. And then we'll pull it up, and I'm going to see if I can see anything. I'm repurposing something. That's the thing, is Carolyn and I repurpose everything. And I'm going to prove that I can get a camera down into the well to see if there's any more cracks, even though I don't need to. I hope I can inspire you to tell the naysayers you can do it. Thanks for watching.